So this is the basic Christmas tree shape that we'll be creating using this pattern. Now this original one was done using a book of 23 centimeters in height and just over 200 pages. When you're choosing your book, I would start off by looking at the number of pages. You're looking for around 200, something like that. Now this one is about 176, in the region of that. Okay, so you can go a little bit lower, particularly if your book's small like this one. Now this is 19 centimeters in height. I wouldn't go any lower than 19. This is because when we come to glue the spots to create the honeycomb, if those spaces are a little bit too small, then it will spoil the look of the honeycomb. So 19, I would say, would be the smallest that you would go to. What we need to be looking at really is the ratio, okay, the ratio between the number of pages and the depth, or this size here of the book. Okay, now when the book's wider, then obviously that arc that you'll create with the pattern will become larger, so you'll be needing more pages. But I think to start off with, 200 should give you enough, okay, for the size of book that you'll be working with. It's not an exact science, it's more trial and error as we'll create the pattern, but don't worry about it at this stage. Hopefully it will become clear as we progress. Okay, so preparing your template. Initially, if you print out the template at 100%, and that will give you an idea of what size you need for the size of book. Now at 100%, that's the size you need for a 23 centimeter book. So if you don't want to do any scaling, look for a book that's about 23 centimeters, which this one is. So this one didn't have any scaling on it. Okay, so for a book of 19 centimeters, that's obviously going to be too big. So the first scaling I did, just to give me an idea of where we're going, was 75%. So if I show you that, it'd be okay size wise, because I could just extend this to give a bigger trunk. But what's happened, this has become a little bit too small, the spaces, as I was talking about earlier. So I then went to 85%, and this one is the 85%, and actually that's worked out pretty much bang on, and the spaces here a little bit bigger, so that should work out fine. So what you need to do is then stick that to a piece of card. Okay, so I've done that here, and what you're looking for in your card, not too thick, because that will make it difficult for you to cut out, and not too thin. Obviously you need it thick enough to give you a nice edge to be drawing around. So what we're doing is we're taking away this bit, so the actual tree, and retaining this bit. Why I do that is because the piece of card, what you need is a nice right angled edge, and we can use that on the edge of the page once we've cut it to size. Yeah, so that's then give us a reference point for each page, so the pattern that we cut out will it be in the same position on each page, so it'll be nice and neat as you work through. So what I will now do is cut this out to size, so that the Christmas tree, you don't want that right up in that corner, you want to step away a little bit, and I'll show you on this one, so that you've got a flat edge there, otherwise it won't look right, it won't sit right on the page. Okay, so I'll go off camera now and just cut this out, retaining this side, and cut this to size so that that fits on the page nicely. Make sure when you do it, retain those nice square corners, so that it gives you a nice horizontal pattern. Okay, so I'll stop the camera now and come back to you when I've done that. So what we need to do is to start drawing and cutting each page. start at the centre, so find the last number page. This isn't critical, but find the last number page and divide by 2. So in this case the last page was 178, so the middle is going to be 89. So we go to page 89, turn the book round, and because we can't really see the edge of that page very well, to get your template nice and square, it's quite a good idea to put a piece of dark card behind it so you can get that nice and square like that. Okay, get your pencil. I'll do this in pen so you can see better. In fact, for the camera I'm going to turn this round. You'll find the best position for you in any case. Okay, so then just draw around that. As I say, you do it in pencil so that you don't see the pencil marks, and you can rub them out if you wish. Okay, so there it is in pen so you can see it better, and then all you do is then cut it out. Now you can use a craft knife, obviously. I'm hopeless with the craft knife, so I like to use a pair of scissors, and it's a bit of getting used to, a bit of tricky, and actually a smaller pair of scissors than this would be much better. Okay, so but you just turn the book round if you need to just get that nice curve. I haven't done this very well. It's tricky to get in the right position when you're doing it on camera, and sometimes just come in from this side. Okay, now I'm going to do that better, but it's just to sort of show you basically what we're doing, and just curve that round so we don't get a sharp edge on the top there, and then you can neaten it off where you need to and come back and do the other direction. It's much easier with a craft knife if you're good with the craft knife, and you can do several pages at once. Okay, so you do that with every page, and start off initially with 30 cuts, so 60 pages. Okay, then return to the middle, turn the book round, and do the same towards the front, so another 30 more of these, or 60 pages. Okay, so I'm going to go away and do that. I'm going to get rid of this one and do it properly with pencil, and come back to you when I've done that. Okay, so that's all done. So we have a total of 60 Christmas trees to make up the honeycomb. There was just a couple of things I wanted to mention. First thing, when you're counting from the centre, you count your 30. On your last one, just put a star or a mark on the last page, so you know when you get to that page you've done your 30, rather than having to recount and checking how many you've done, and then obviously do that on the same side when you sorry, on this side when you do your 30 towards the front. Okay, and the other thing I wanted to mention is when you cut your template out, if it's a little bit rough, your pencils might sort of snag on it and you won't get a nice smooth line to cut along. So what I tend to do is just get a piece of very fine sandpaper. So this one is the 1200, and just give it a just light, very light sort of rub, and that'll just smooth it off so you get a nice line, smooth line when you're running your pencil across. I also do the same once I've cut out. I just hold it together as though it was one sort of solid object, and just very lightly again just run along, and that takes off any sort of rough edges or frayed edges. Okay, but don't worry too much about it. You know, it's not a critical thing. Once it sort of opens out, you don't see all those sort of imperfections generally anyway. But if it's particularly bad, like some of these are, just run your emery board or sandpaper along that like that. Okay, so the next thing to do is to colour it. You can leave it as it is if you wish, and any choice of colour that you want to do, so you can tone in with what colours you do generally with your Christmas decorations. This one I did here, I used the Cosmic Shimmer Colour Cloud Blending ink, and the colour was Basil Leaf. I thought that was quite a nice sort of bright green there. Okay, and the effect you want to get is just to blend the edge of the page so that when it opens out you can still sort of see and catch that print. You can see a bit on the camera, rather than sort of colouring the whole page quite deep in. If you do it fairly deep into it, you won't see the print so much, or the original sort of colour of the page. But again, that's preference. If you want a sort of solid effect, then do it deeper onto this area. Okay, so what I'm trying this time is some calligraphy ink. I'm sticking with green, but the green they did was, or the green I've got is quite a dark green. So I've got some yellow and mixed it up until I got the colour that I wanted. So that's what we've got in here. Okay, and a good idea to also, if you tear out a page from the front and the back of the book that you're using, and then have a little practice on the paper, because different paper types in books will have a different effect with the ink. It'll soak, some will soak it up more than others, but also you can see what sort of colour the colour's going to come out on your particular book as well. So have a practice, and you know, particularly if you're sort of looking to catch just the edge. And what I use is just a makeup sponge, and these ones I got from B&M in the UK, and they were just £1. They're just £1 each there, so that's a good buy. So what I do is turn the book over and then take your first leaf like so, dip your sponge in. I'm going to take that out because that's going to fall in, and then just take the excess off. I've got a bit of glass here, so I'm not spoiling anything. You can use an old tile or anything like that, and then just catch that edge in like that. I don't know whether you can see that properly. I'll come this way, and you just rubbing it in, just blending a little bit on the edge like so. Okay, you do that all the way round the Christmas tree edge. Okay, as I say, if you want to do a little bit more, that's absolutely fine. As I say, it's your tree. So you can see that we're just catching the edge there. Okay, and then protect that one, otherwise it'll become too dark and concentrated, and just carry on through the book. Take the excess off like so. Okay, so that's the one side done, and what we need to do now is turn the book round, get a fresh piece of card, and do the same for the other side. Okay, so that's all the pages complete, and I'm going to clear up this mess and come back to you when I've done that. So all the ink and messy bits have been cleared away, and the next stage is to start the honeycomb effect. Now you'll probably end up with a little bit of mess on these first pages, so I'm just going to tear those out, so we don't want those left in. And this one's just got a bit as well, so I'll take that one out so they're all nice and clean, sorry, nice and clean on those pages. Excuse me. Okay, so we need our template back, because on the template you've got series of 1s and 2s, and these are the positions of where we're going to be sticking the tape to create the honeycomb effect. So the first positions we're going to be sticking at are the 1s, okay, and then the next one will be at the 2s, so we're alternating those positions. Now I use this thin tape, and I've forgotten how much it was, but not a great deal, from the range in the UK, and the easiest way I found to do it is just to cut a bit off and then just stick that in position 1, cut it, and again the next one, and the next one, oops, and the next one, like so. Okay, and so they've got the backing strips that you peel off. So I've actually found that the easiest way to do it is to run through and just stick those in position first. Stuck that in the wrong place. So we're going to do the 2s on this next one, and that one, cut another little strip off, and that's 2 on that one, and then the next sleeve will be back to the 1s. Okay, we'll just alternate between 1s and 2s. Okay, so I'll stop the camera and carry on with that. You can obviously use glue dots, and in that case you'll be sticking the pages as you go along, but that's fine. But and I've used glue dots. I find it a little bit more fiddly to use glue spots. Sorry, this way without. The reason why I'm not sticking it, and you can do obviously if you'd prefer that, it's up to you, but I kept forgetting where I was between the 1s and 2s. Once they're stuck, it's not as easy to check back. With the backing still on and not stuck, it's a lot easier to see where you're at and which one you're at. So yeah, so I'll stop the camera now and just carry on sticking these in position. So I've just come to the last one to take the backing off the sticky tape. So I usually find one of the best ways is just get a craft knife and just flick it underneath, and they tend to just jump off nicely. Get that in the way. And the other thing to do is when you're actually sticking that, bring the front and the back hardcovers together so that it sets in the correct position. If you don't do that, then it's not going to lie properly. Okay, so that's all of the cutouts, all the Christmas trees stuck together, so we can see that honeycomb shape now. What you need to do is just to tease it, don't go crazy, just to tease it. Oh, and the other thing is when you're sticking, just every now and again just firmly press against those so you know they're stuck as well as they're going to be. Okay, so just start to tease it out. Okay, so that you're not straining it too much initially. Okay, Okay, and you're not wanting to stick the last two, you know, the front one and the back one down yet, because if you are going to add some more, then that's going to make it difficult for you to do that. That's on the borderline really of needing some more, but I like the way that that's opening out. It's opening out, if you see this one here, it's opening out a little bit more than that, so I quite like that. But if you wanted to actually add some more, you just go through the same process, positioning the template, cutting out and then colouring and then sticking, okay, until you get the effect that you want. But that's okay, because these are not opened out quite enough yet, because obviously with holding it, that's not going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to clear all these bits of backing tape away, and then I'll show you what the next stage is, because obviously if you don't fix that, that's not going to stay open. Okay, so we'll come on to the next stage as soon as I've cleared up. So nice tidy workspace again, and the next thing to do is we have to fix our spare pages. So I normally do it with Pritt Stick, and that seems to work fine. You can take, if you've got a lot of spare pages, you can take some of those out, just tear them out or cut them out or use a craft knife, and you know, it depends again the look you want. If you want nice thick you know, either side of the tree, then leave them in. If there's about 20 pages by the looks of it, which, you know, I think that'll be fine. And what I do is just stick in the tree area, so it looks as though the pages are not stuck together. But again, if you want to stick more of the area, then you can do that. So it's just a case of applying the glue, and again, as we did when we were sticking the bits for these, close the book up so it's going to sit properly. If you don't, you tend to get a little bubble there and it just doesn't sit properly. And don't worry if it's not sticking straight away, it'll dry fine. Okay, so just doing a triangle sort of shape there, roughly half the page going diagonally across. Okay, so bring those two together. Okay, so it's done. And just carry on like that until we get to the last one. Don't stick the Christmas tree to it. I'm not sure, I haven't actually tried, but I don't think the Pritt Stick would be strong enough to hold that in place. So I'll come back and show you what we do with that bit there. Okay, to actually fix the Christmas tree to the pages, the spare pages, we need to go back to the tape. So if we just use tape to run just along that edge, that was a little spare bit, but it's probably easier to just use little bits anyway, because you can get into the shape a little bit more, like so. That one just needs a little bit. Okay, and I think this would hold it better than the Pritt Stick. As I say, I haven't tried it with the Pritt Stick, but there's quite a lot of force on there, and I just think it's safer to stick it with this. Okay, so last couple of bits. So we'll go along the bottom of the tree as well, so we're covering all that shape, and the trunk. Like so, and you can put a couple more bits in there just for luck. Okay, so stick those down nicely. Okay, and just get the craft knife and just flick them off. Always a bit of a fiddle, this bit. There we go, they're coming off nicely. Always finding these little bits of backing tape all over the house. Get everywhere. Haven't found them in my bed yet. Okay, so again what we need to do is close the book up so it's going to sit properly and not stick to an area of the page which is going to make it sit in the wrong place. Okay, so that's one half done. That's looking quite good. I'm pleased with that, and so I'll do the rest of the other side, and then what we have to do is just don't mess with it at this stage. Leave it overnight with something heavy on top so that Pritt stick dries nicely, so it holds those spare pages in place. So the next stage will be decoration, so I'll revert back to this one here that's all done, and we can decorate that. And so I'll just finish off the rest of that and come back to you to decorate. So on to decoration. So with the template you get a couple of files that you print off on coloured card for the decoration. So we've got the tree decorations here, but also that you can arrange these below the tree as well, as you've seen in the photos at the beginning. And choose your colourway. I chose pink and green. I really like those two colours, but you could go more traditional, red, gold. Just depends what your scheme is for the Christmas decorations, or what your favourite colours are, etc. So I've got an array of items here that I think, yeah, pretty much all has come from the range in the UK. I'm sure you've got similar shops in the United States and elsewhere. And these I already had, so these are just a collection of green sequins and buttons and flowers, etc. that I've had collected along the way. And we've got some dip pen ink, which is silver. Now if you get this and it's all congealed and lumpy at the bottom, don't worry about that, it's just the glitter all sort of settling down. It does settle down quite quickly, just get something to stir it up and that'll be fine. We've got a couple of the pink and green ribbon, that's these strands, and what I've done is again stuck some sequins to a couple of the strands of that. Okay, so here's the green one. Got some more sequins, white pen that you know, for instance, drawing little circles on it, just highlights. These are lovely stick. What it is, it's like the glitteration, so they're like strips which have got glue on the back, so you can use those as well. And you know, it's all fairly cost effective and easily affordable. Okay, so just an idea of what we've done with these printouts. So here's the star. Okay, so the star, if I hold that up to you, I've done some highlighting with the white pen and some shading there, and then this will go at the top, so I've just stuck a pin to that, but you could use a cocktail stick or anything like that. And if you print it off in 2 colours, then you can cut different aspects off the same pattern. For instance, this one here you can see, so it's just this one which has been printed off in pink and green, and then I've cut the ribbon bit out and then stuck it on in parts but left it in other parts, so that you get that sort of 3D effect as well. There you can see the glitter strip at the top that's stuck on there, and some little silver dots and white highlighting areas as well. So just from one sheet you can see the sort of things that we can do with it. This green one here, again I cut out the pink bit there and stuck it on as a tag, and then used the green glitterations to stick on there for the ribbon that goes around the parcel. Okay, let's get another one here, this one. Okay, so that's again got the glitterations on and just all pink. And what we do, the ones that go on the tree, you can just stick, get a better one, here we go, just stick a piece of card, strip of card on the back, and then that pokes into the tree and you can stick it on where you want it to go. And again, here's a pink and green one that's had the glitteration stuck on as well. So it's all sorts of things that you can do just to give different effects. Okay, so that's the little bits, and we have the boxes as well, so for the parcels, 3 different sizes, but you can scale these in the same way as we scaled the template. Okay, so there's a little one here, and it's just printed on plain green, and then I've drawn a pattern on there. Okay, and put a little flower with some embroidery thread. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what you can do with those printouts, and what we'll do now is arrange it on the Christmas tree, so we can decorate that ready for positioning with all our other decorations. Okay, so the Christmas tree is now decorated using the printouts that we had a look at earlier, and the other thing you need to do is, as you can see, that is now positioned, it's not going to close, and what I've done is put on the bottom, I'll just get that in the right place for you here and let the camera focus. I've just cut a piece of card to the position where I wanted it to open, so at angles there, and then glued that in. I backed it with some of the page just to make it look a little bit better, but you're not going to see it anyway. It was just thought that might be a nice touch. Curved it so it fits under the trunk of the tree, so you can't see it, and that just holds it in place. So if you think you sort of position the book like that, get a piece of card underneath and put it how you want it to open, and just draw a line either side like that, so that gives you your angles, and then put that against it where after you've cut it out, and then draw a mark around there, cut that out, and then, as I say, just use super glue to just stick that in place, and that'll hold it nicely in place, as you can see with that. Okay, on the decorations, so I positioned them how I wanted without gluing, and then got some super glue and just put it on the tabs to stick them into position. So that's it all complete. I hope you enjoy making it. I'd love to see some of your pictures, send them across to me, and yeah, as I say, love to see them, and Merry Christmas to you all.